Okay, I'm live, hon. Hi for those we're just warming up, trying to see if people could get on a little early tonight. We officially start at 8:30. This is only a test. Had this been a real emergency, it would have been followed by emergency broadcast sound and symbols. Harold, how you doing, buddy? How's things up there in cold weather country? Oh, it's cold down here in New York, Harold. Thank you for joining, Harold. I appreciate that. Are you on yet, Barb? Oh, he's on my. He hit the link. So maybe you have to re-hit the link, hon. And it's still saying no good. Why is that? Is Angie helping you? I'll have him help you, hon. Hey, Nick. Hey, Nick. Thanks for joining. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, Harold. I could imagine Michigan is not warm. So, Harold and Nick, did you guys just click on the link that I gave you? Are you guys on phones or laptops? Because I think it's the phone issue that people aren't able to sign on. How'd you guys log on? Through the phone or a laptop, if you don't mind telling me, or PC? Hey, Danica's on. Hi, Danica. How are you? Thanks for joining us. All right, it's 8:30. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Angie's Angles. It is November the 4th in the year of our Lord 2021. I am happy to be broadcasting tonight for various reasons. Mainly because I went in for a little medical procedure this morning at 6 a.m. Barbara drove me to the ambulatory surgery center of Stony Brook, and we took care of some internal plumbing that was going on with me. So everything went well. I'm okay. I'm recouping. I'm going to be laid up until Monday, Tuesday, but that's fine. Okay, so Harold's telling me on the phone, he's on the phone, and he had to do the YouTube subscription. Harold, did you subscribe to my channel or did you have to create a subscription? Kindly let everybody know. Are you on, Barb, or no? Okay. You getting Angelo to help you? Okay, so we're having technical difficulties with YouTube. So Harold, tell me, why we got some people trying to get on. You're on your phone and YouTube subscription. What does that mean? Can you walk us through that process, Harold? And then I'll reply it to the audience for those that may or may not be able to hear me. Oh, so you have to subscribe to my channel, Barbara. At the bottom it says subscribe. See, it's funny. Thanks, Harold, for telling. It's funny because I made it public where you didn't have to subscribe. I didn't think, at least. Um, when you're on my page, Barb, subscribe to my channel. All right. So, welcome to Angie's Angles. So, like I said, I had a little stint in the surgery center this morning. Took care of some internal plumbing. The proof will be in the pudding on Monday if all the drains operate properly. So we'll see what's going on. I am well. Thank you for all your cares, your prayers, your concerns. I really appreciate it. Everybody, I'm blessed. Truly, I am blessed. Wonderful family I have. Barbara took the day off and made sure I was taken care of. My boys were concerned, my in-laws, and all my friends and family. So I really thank everybody for their prayers, their concerns, etc. It means a lot to me. Today's portion of the show is Danny's Road to the Show, brought to you by Olio Restaurant, Stamford, Connecticut. Steve Costanzo, chef owner. Mention Angie's Angles, get 10% off. I'm telling you, it's happening. once I recover and I get to be back to normal with my plumbing, I'm going to take a trip up to Olio Restaurant on a Thursday night. We're going to broadcast live. So I'm going to arrange that with Steve. He'll give me probably a little VIP section up there in Stamford, Connecticut. Who knows? I might even run into Bobby Valentine. Wouldn't that be a hoot? Maybe, Steve, if you're listening, you can put that together. Invite Bobby over. We reminisce about the Mets. And how we use that stupid disguise. That was horrible back in the day. So Danny's road to the show. There's not much to say. Road to the show this week. Danny had the weekend off from baseball. Um, we actually didn't have any. Okay, so Barb is on. That's great. Hey Barb, and thanks Harold for giving us that information. That was awesome. I'm getting some messages, so let me see. Okay, so hold on, guys. I'm give me 1 second. Okay. All right. I'm going to get that fixed. Now that we think we know what the problem is, I'm going to call my friend Kevin down in the Carolinas and we'll have it all working for next week. But we're getting a lot more people on this week, so that's great. I appreciate that. So, Danny and Angelo made their confirmation this past Sunday. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful autumn day. The sun was shining. It was warm. The church was humming. A very beautiful ceremony. And our boys looked absolutely handsome. Um, Barbara, their mom, did an amazing job outfitting them. They wore red ties, which red is the symbol of the Holy Spirit, with white, crisp shirts, nice khakis. And not only that, they wore dad's shoes. So my 15-year-old sons are stepping into my shoes, and that's awesome. So we'll see what happens. Um, right. So Bob is telling you you have to go to YouTube, look up me, and subscribe to my channel, and then you'll be able to pop up and do everything, which is great. Let me just respond, Officer Lennon. So let me just tell him. Give me 1 second. And I'm just going to let him know what's going on. And I'm not sure why that's that, but we'll see what happens. So the boys made their confirmation, and there was no baseball. We were supposed to have uh, championship baseball going on. We're supposed to be finishing up with the Aviators this past Sunday, regular season. We did not play those games because not only was it their confirmation, it was also Halloween, and the league tried to rearrange our time for later in the day, and that conflicted with a lot of plans everybody made for Halloween. So we took a loss, but that didn't affect our standings, and we're playing for the championship this weekend. So Danny's got a game Saturday at 10:40 at the PAL Stadium over in, I think it's Highlandia. So we'll have an update next week. So thank you again, Harold, Barb, for reiterating how to get on my channel. I just told Officer Lennon maybe he'll populate here in a minute or two. So that was Danny's Road to the Show, brought to you by Olio Restaurant, Stamford, Connecticut. Steve Costanzo, Angie's Angles, 10% off. Steve, you got to let me know if anybody showed up yet. So, so let's talk about something near. No, it's not Brentwood. It's PAL Stadium, which is right by it's actually by almost Island 16s, right over there by the movie theaters. So the World Series is over, and one of the two teams I predicted to be in the World Series is the Atlanta Braves, and they win. And how fitting, how wonderful that the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. The Atlanta Braves of Atlanta, Georgia, where the All-Star game was pulled violently, wrongly. Uh, Baseball should have had no voice in what transpired in Georgia. Yet Rob Manfredo had the audacity to pull the All-Star game, which this year was honoring Hammer and Hank Aaron, to Colorado. We've covered it ad nauseum. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I vetted it 100 times. You could do your own vetting. You could see how the businesses around Coors Field are white owned and employed, where the businesses around Truist Field in Atlanta, Georgia, are minority owned and minority employed. And you tell me where the economic fairness was by pulling that out of Atlanta, Georgia. You're not going to be able to do it. So I don't know what to say. Uh, so Officer Len's having a little problem commenting. Did anybody have to do anything special to be able to comment? If you could, Harold, Barbara, Danica, Nick, if you had to do anything special, let me know. So thank you, Harold. I appreciate you agreeing. Yes, I think justice was truly served. And honestly, if I was the owner of the Atlanta Braves, when Rob Manfredo was handing over the commissioner's trophy, I would have said, why don't you go to Colorado and do it virtually? Why don't we have a Zoom meeting? You be in Colorado, and I'll be here in Houston accepting the trophy. I would have told Rob Manfredo, shove that trophy up your ass. That's what I would have told Rob Manfredo. That would have been perfect. I would have said, take your trophy. I don't want your trophy. We won the World Series. Everybody knows that. I don't need no stinking trophy. Matter of fact, I'm going to go manufacture a trophy 10 times better than what you want to hand me. That's what I would have done as the owner of the Atlanta Braves. Rob Manfredo can't get out of town fast enough for this guy. He's got to go. He's got to go. Just like the entire Mets executive offices, they got to go. Stevie Cohen, clean house. Sandy Alderson, do not let that door hit you in the ass on the way out. Get out. Leave town. Don't come back. We don't want you no more. I mean, Jesus, for goodness gracious. I don't know what to say. I don't. And let's get back. Let's focus. Let's get back to the Atlanta Braves. Wow. Max Fried came up big after being batted around a little bit in his previous start. He settled down. He was crisp. He took a spike to the ankle. He came back stronger. Um, Say what you want to say. The Braves came to play. They had a mission. They played as a team. There was no eyes all about it. It was all about us. There was no individualism, even though Jorge Soler definitely had individual game worthiness for sure. But they were all cohesive. They were all pulling for each other. And I'm not. The Braves are my nemesis. You have to understand that. I'm wearing New York Mets shirt, and the Braves are my nemesis, especially when you get a guy like Chipper Larry Lawrence Jones, who was all-star third baseman for the Braves back in the day during my heyday when I was younger and the Mets were vital and vibrant. The guy owned Shea Stadium, and then what does he go and do? He names his kid Shea because he had 500 bat. It wasn't 500, but a very large batting average. I believe he was one of the most home runs hit at Shea Stadium as a visiting ball player, et cetera, et cetera. So he named his child Shea. I mean, that's sticking it to you when you do that. That's no bueno, in my opinion. So the Atlanta Braves win. Thank God the Astros lost. I mean, it's a shame they even won one game. Never mind two. Uh, it was disheartening to see them win at all. And it's funny. My son Danny, he wanted the Astros to win because he feels that they're trying to put the cheating scandal behind them. that in spite of all the people hating on them for cheating, they were still focused, and they still got to the World Series, and he wanted them to win. Well, just so everybody knows, Danny also likes the New England Patriots. Cheaters. So, Danny, I think Danny's got to find a little bit better quality of teams to root for. But anyway, so I'm very happy that the Atlanta Braves. Congratulations to them. Jorge Soler, only the second Cuban-born player to win the World Series MVP. Livan Hernandez is the other one. Um, again, there not have been that many Cuban-born players to play in the World Series as much as other nationalities, but still an honor. It's nice that it was nice that he got the award because he had outstanding. He was outstanding. Harold, who was honoring the stadium? You feel like he was honoring the stadium? Can you clarify that? Because I might have missed that. What you were talking about. So, so that's that, right? So let's talk about election day real quick. We're at the 8:44 mark. Oh, yeah, that's funny. Harold, Danny, Astros and Pats, no bueno. I agree with you. Oh, Chipper was on. Yeah. Okay, so that's a sure. Sure. I'm gonna disagree with you because I'm a little bit deeper into Chipper's psyche than perhaps you are, my friend. Only because I had to see Chipper too many times during his season with the Mets. Um, I don't know. It's possible. I think he had success at Shea Stadium. He's proud of his accomplishment, and he named his son after Shea Stadium. So I could buy into that, Harold, to an extent. So fair point. I got you. So let's talk about election day, can we? Holy smokes, what happened in Virginia? Come on. We all saw that happening. We all saw that coming. Youngkin really sticking it to McAuliffe. Uh, I think McAuliffe's mistake was getting behind the parents have no say in the schools in the children's school education. I think that's a major faux pas, as we say where I come from. Um, you cannot tell a parent that you feel that they don't have any say in what goes on with their child's education because school starts at home first. Everybody. Um, you could teach a kid in school all day long, but if the parents aren't behind it at home, supporting it, being on top of their kid, nothing happens. Yeah, Barb. Yeah, did you not know that Chipper Jones named his kid Shay? Oh God, Shay Jones. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, and then let's talk about Long Island. I mean, both Nassau County and Suffolk County legislatures have swapped to a Republican majority. So you could say the red wave, the red tsunami is happening. It was predicted. Biden's approval rating is in the crapper, and I'm a little flippant with that word because apparently so is he. Um, you know, it's awful. He was pressed just by Steve Ducey on Fox News just the other day about this $450,000 payout to the illegal undocumented immigrants trying to come or coming into into our border, over our border, and paying them $450,000 per person for the separation that occurred with them. Uh, but here's the thing: that was the law. You couldn't have adults with minors. I mean, that's the law. It's on the books. So and again, why are we giving people that are legally coming into our country any money at all? You know, my grandfather, my grandmother came from Italy legally. You know what they got? They got WAP. Uh, you know, hit on their passport without papers. You know, so WAP without papers, and that's how the Italians kind of got that. Wop-sided. He's a little wop-sided. That's how they got that moniker because WOP meant without papers, that they didn't really have legit papers coming in, but they went through the immigration process. They got documented, they got an ID, they got this, they started paying taxes and the whole 9 yards. So money should not be going to anybody for doing anything illegal. And that's my take from Angie's Angles. I respect everybody's viewpoints and opinions, but that's where I stand on that. So the midterms are going to be coming around in 2022, yeah, and we're going to have more Senate and Congress seats swap. I'm assuming if this continues. But can anybody tell me, anybody at all, anybody see what's her name? I can't even think of her name. Who is she? The vice president, Kamala Harris. Anybody see her? Anybody know where she is? Because I haven't seen, heard anything about her. I mean, this is unusual, in my opinion, especially when you need a face to save Joe Biden from himself because the man has fallen asleep at summit meetings. Um, he's having a couple accidents apparently. That hasn't been fully vetted yet. Strong suspicions that happened, but you can't be doing that as president of the United States. So we're at the 8:49 mark. We got 10 minutes left in Angie's Angles. So let's cut off to the obscure rule portion of the show. Brought to you by Smoke Therapy, 215 Ronkonkoma Avenue, Ronkonkoma, Long Island. See my friends Lonnie and Mike. That's a cigar lounge, folks. For those that don't know what Smoke Therapy is, one of the best cigar lounges I've been at. They're doing a top-notch job. They got 2 big-screen TVs. They got lounge seating. They got a selection of cigars. Matter of fact, maybe next Monday I'll bring out my Perdomo coffee mug, show it off that I got from there. Smoke Therapy. So the Obscure Rule is brought to you by Smoke Therapy, Ronkonkoma, New York. So today's uh, Obscure Rule, which isn't really all that obscure, we're running out of some of them. So I'm going to have to dive, a little deeper. If a pitched ball gets caught up in any part of the catcher's gear, his mask, his shirt, his shin guard, chest protector, and there are runners on base, the ball is a dead ball, and the runners advance 1 base. Now, why, if he catches the ball in his glove, isn't glove part of his apparatus? But if he catches the ball in his glove, it's not a dead ball. The ball's live, and the runners run at that peril. But if it gets lodged anywhere other than his glove, mask, chest protector, knee pads, it's a dead ball and the runners advance 1 base. It's an interesting rule. I'm going to have to maybe do a little history search on that and find out why that is. I don't know what happened back in the day. I'm not really sure. Maybe it got lodged inside his mask, and the runners ran at will because he couldn't remove it from his mask. But I'm thinking if he can't remove it from his mask, it's still part of his body, right? I would just put the glove over the portion of the ball and take the runner out. I don't know. I mean, he had possession of the ball, right? Wouldn't that count? I'm not really sure. Anyway, um, I take questions if anybody has questions, if they want to add anything. Nick, you got anything to say, Nick? I know you reached out to me today, and I appreciate that about my surgery. Thank you kindly. We got Barb on. We got Harold on. Who else on here? I said Nick. Danica. Can't forget Danica. Danica sent me well wishes the other day. That was very kind of you, Danica. So we're at the 8:52 mark. We got Angie's Angles. I don't see David on tonight. Dave Silberg's not here. Linda was having some troubles logging on. I don't know what's going on. Mr. McGowan, Officer Lennon. I think Officer Lennon can hear me, but he claims he cannot chat. So that's our next frontier to learn how you could chat on my channel. I don't know why Mr. Lennon, Officer Lennon's not chatting. Where's Ray Hughes tonight? I'm not really sure. But we'll see. Everything should be coming up roses. And I'm also going to go play with Facebook again. I'm going to spend some time. I'm going to have tomorrow, and maybe I'll do that tomorrow. The boys are going to school. Barbara's got back to work, and I'll be home recouping. And maybe I'll play with Facebook to find out why my live streaming on Facebook went kablooey. Other than that, I'm happy to be here. I have to tell you something. So I wasn't concerned about going in for this. I wasn't concerned about the procedure. Good night, Barb. Thanks for joining. And she thanks you, Harold. So I wasn't necessarily concerned about the procedure. It's pretty much run of the mill. Um, the concern that I have is if the procedure was going to be successful and how long it would serve me. Um, so, not to really go into real specifics or gross anybody else out, but um, as we get older, men, uh, their prostates enlarge. They get bigger, the prostates. And mine got bigger, and it prevented me from urinating. I couldn't urinate. So I went a couple years ago, like a year and a half ago, and they talked about a procedure where they go in and they staple the walls of your urethra channel up on the sides of your prostate to open it up. And I said to the doc, I said, okay, that sounds interesting because it's not permanent. There's no um, side effects, et cetera, et cetera. I said, what's the life cycle on that procedure? He goes, oh, about 2 years. Now the pre-op portion to find out if I was a candidate to do this was extremely painful, folks. You don't want to experience what I experienced. So, they got to go in with the camera and the whole 9 yards. And I said, listen, I'm 50 at the time. I guess I was 54, 55. I said, I'm too young to have this done every 2 or 3 years. I'm not willing to do that. So then I went to a different urologist and they came up with what is called the green light procedure, where they go and they vaporize the part of the prostate that's blocking you, that's not allowing you to urinate. And I asked what the lifespan of that procedure was, and the doctor said about you'll get a good maybe 10, maybe possible 12 years out of that. So 10 to 12 years puts me well into my late 60s, which is more tolerable. It gets me through the next 10, 12 years, and I'm a happy camper that I'm able to have the plumbing work again. So it wasn't necessarily the procedure I was concerned about. It was uh, uh, that it works and that it'll be long lasting. So Monday I go back for the follow up, and they're going to do some tests to make sure the plumbing's working and there's no issues, and then I should be good to go. So that's what I had done today. There's hundreds of us feeling it in the world, and that segues into my next one. I'm not sure if they're on tonight, but Deb and Lee down in Maryland, friends of the family. Um, Lee's going through a little personal medical issue himself, and our fan base here at Angie's Angles and myself and our family, we send all the love in the world down to you, Lee. We're praying, we're offering you support. Um, we're pulling for you the whole 9 yards. So if you guys are listening tonight, um, and even if you're not, know that Angie's Angles family is all pulling for you, and we're in your thoughts, and you're in our thoughts and prayers. So Lee and Deb down in Maryland, uh, this one's for you guys. So we hope everything goes well for you. So that brings us to the 8:57 mark. Um, Harold, thank you for giving us that direction on how to get online. We're gonna have to work on this a little bit more. I see that more people were able to come on tonight, so I'm very happy about that. It seems like there's a certain segment of the population that understands YouTube, and a certain population, i.e., Officer Lennon, that has no clue. So, Officer Lennon, next week we'll make it our job to navigate it and find out what you're doing wrong. I'm sure it's a button click here or there, and you'll be in business, and then you'll be able to bust my chops as you normally do. Officer Lennon, by the way, was very concerned about the procedure today. He was praying and hoping that they didn't hiccup as they're making the incisions and went a little further south or north, and I would have come out of it talking a little bit more like this. So Officer Leonard was all over me for that. He wanted to know if I was going to sing soprano or not. So we have a good time at work. He's a good man, and I'm honored to be his friend as well. So this is Angie's Angles saying good night. God bless. See you next week, 8:30 live. Love you all.